Hello and welcome to the Engerati studio, live at the European Utility Week. I'm Sophia and I'm joined by Elena Santiago, Director General of CEN-CENELEC. Hi Elena, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Brilliant. So let's start this since you have to catch a flight.
Let's start.
Of course, grid flexibility is a key complex issue at the moment. What in your view needs to be done to interconnect and create scale?
Well, I would like to focus a little bit also on standardization, because we have been addressing in the hub session on flexibility several solutions that are addressing flexibility and scalability for the grid. And we have indeed talked about integrated and different energy sources, including renewables. Which is a big challenge. We in the standardization community started some years ago with a coordination group, which is the CEN-CENELEC ETSI coordination group on smart grids. And this coordination group has coordinated the development of standards that address and help for the whole European framework on communication and electrical architecture, the deployment of the high-level smart grid functionalities. So, of course, the question is too broad. What I can say is that standards can indeed contribute to integrate different energy sources and to deploy high-level functionalities. This is not only a European issue, it's an international challenge. And we work very close with the International Electrotechnical Commission, which is a standard body at global level for electrical and electricity and related technologies. And they have delivered a very interesting standards roadmap for smart grids, which is fully consistent with the European work. Now, I think it's very important to address also the consumption side and behavior also in the consumption. And in that sense, what we are doing in the standards community is in different groups trying to address that challenge on, for instance, smart charging for e-mobility, intelligent transport system, smart grids, smart grids I mentioned, but smart meters and smart homes, which is also very important. All in all the systems need to communicate and interact and interoperate with the grid and among themselves. And that's a way to ensure, or to try to ensure, scalability and flexibility. Yeah.
So to create flexibility, we just said it, technology and investment as well need to come together. Do you see this happening at the moment?
Well, the CENELEC president in the session, because he had a keynote speech, mentioned some initiatives that are taking place. So in Europe, the European Commission has published the Energy Union, which is a policy, a strategy for energy that tries to ensure the energy security, and so that there is the adequate infrastructure to ensure flow of energy for the whole Europe. There is also, that can be one step ahead to create a favorable conditions in terms of technology and investment. There is the, I think, very well-known Juncker's investment plan,
of course,
315 billion for 3 years, where they're already, and I assume there will be still some investments from utilities on the infrastructure from the strategic investment funds. So those are two initiatives that can create favorable conditions in Europe. I think also, and this has been reflected also in our hub session, Horizon 2020 is an important impulse for technology development. There are several projects on the smart grid initiative from different utilities companies, a lot of multinational and multilateral funds that are also trying to enhance the infrastructures. And not only Horizon 2020, but also national or multilateral private initiatives. So this is important. Again, I believe that for the flexibility and the technology deployment, the open question is how this is going to address the real-time consumption and the interaction from the consumer side. So we talk a lot about the supply side, but there is a new generation of players or stakeholders in the energy world, and there is a need to have much more interaction to be addressed by the technology. Here, I do believe that standards can help because, I mean, in this development, with the data flows and the concerns that we have about private ownership of the data and the management of the data also, standards can ensure a certain level of flexibility without jeopardizing quality and security in the energy supply and privacy and security on the consumer side. So yeah, I think we are going in the right direction, though yet I think there are some things that need to be done.
Okay, so not yet there.
Not yet there.
But we're going there.
Yeah, we're going
Fair
there.
enough. So digitization is one of the big trends at the moment for transmission, but also for distribution of energy. Although this is not really new in the sector. Do you think that our current development for smart grids are good enough to cover the future need of smart cities or intelligent transport, as you were mentioning before, or smart homes as well? Do you think this is enough, or?
Well, I think that the transmission and distribution industry has made a lot of developments in the past years, like the SCADA systems, for instance. Yet, I think that there is a need to have much more interaction, to break silos, to work together, to all the questions that we were mentioning before of the data management, the data flow, the data privacy. This is requiring and imposing new implications and new requirements for transmission and distribution. What I think is that the energy network, the electricity network of the future will be totally different to the reality that we have today. And we need to get ready for that. We had a very interesting discussion also in our session about data-driven organizations versus technology-driven organizations. And there is an important strategic thinking to be made on where we want to be, how digitization can help us to be where we want to be, and join forces all together without silos and without traditional sectors defining what the requirements are going to be in order to get where we want to be.
Perfect. Elena, we're coming to the end of this interview. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us today. It was a pleasure. Please remember that you can watch all the European utility interviews on our Engerati YouTube channel. Goodbye.
Goodbye.